Hello, how you doing? I loomed at you there. I loomed. How you doing? Are you all right? This is self-care shorts. You've stumbled upon this. We've got a self-care shorts channel here. We've also got social work shorts channel and the website shortsmedia.org. Check all of those kind of things out. There'll be links underneath if you want to have a look at some of the other stuff that's going on that I put out there. I do some writing on Substack, and I do some little videos up here. And this year, 2025, this is the first set of videos I've done, even though it's already April. This is what I'm talking about right at the minute. Pillars of Success for Social Workers. This funky little book with a lovely red cover. Now, don't be put off if you're not a social worker, because what I'm talking about is self-care in general. The book's aimed at social workers, but actually, if you bought yourself a copy, you'd do all right. You know what I mean? It really the focus is anybody really who's working with. Working in an emotional labour, as I call it. I call social work emotional labour, but actually medicine and nursing and teaching and all sorts of person-facing professions are that emotional labour. So when we engage in emotional labour, we have to do particular things to keep ourselves well, because we observe the emotions of other people. We take those emotions on, and if we're not doing something with them, then that kind of creates problems in terms of our well-being. So this is Pillars of Success. This book largely, I suppose, although not exclusively, largely looks at productivity. I've got this 3 pillars of resilience model. To be resilient, you've got to take care of your emotional pillar of resilience, your physical pillar of resilience. There's a physical requirement to mental work. Your brain is the organ of your body that uses the most energy. So if you've not got any energy, then you're not going to do well in that work. So really, it's for anybody who's doing that kind of work. And I do talk quite a bit to local authority employees, who are working in those sort of roles where they need to balance things. They need to work their diary themselves. They need to think about stuff. They need to think about prioritising stuff because they're customer facing often. So it's all that kind of stuff. So so there's the emotional pillar, the physical pillar, and then the practical pillar. And this book's largely about the practical pillar. The earlier book, How to Thrive in Professional Practice or How to Thrive at Work, 2 books, pretty much the same content. Professional practice one aimed at social workers, the Thrive at Work one aimed at everybody else. So largely what we've got here is thinking about how we drive ourselves to be productive. And in a future episode, I'm going to come to what I mean by being productive, because I've got a very specific meaning for it. Actually, not a specific meaning, a very generic meaning of what being productive is. But today's thing is about the importance of purpose and meaning for happiness. Kind of started to hint at some of this in the last episode on the two types of self-care. So what we've got here is imagine just imagine, I suppose, imagine waking up on the first. Or just imagine waking up on the morning and you've got a clear sense of direction. You're ready to face the day. You've got a sense of purpose. You've got a compass that's going to guide you through the day. As Daniel Goleman puts it, you've got some direction. So you've got some direction that will help you endeavour to be a competent pilot of your life. And when we've got that purpose and meaning, it gives us something to root our actions in, helps us navigate the ups and downs, because we're working towards a bigger goal, something bigger than ourselves, really. The fleeting pleasures we talked about last time with the 2 types of self-care, the fleeting pleasures provide us with some temporary joy, but deep enduring happiness comes from having a life rich in meaning and purpose. So it goes beyond our daily tasks, although we need to root our daily tasks in what gives us meaning and purpose. Purpose connects us doing things on a daily basis that are connected to our purpose, deeply held values and aspirations, if you like, or what we're after, and that could be your professional passions, creative pursuits, connecting with family and friends, whatever it is. And you might have a number of things that give you purpose and meaning, and that's okay. This idea comes from Viktor Frankl, who's a psychiatrist, a Holocaust survivor, and also from Nietzsche. So Viktor Frankl was in good company, if you can understand Nietzsche. They asserted something along the lines of, those who have a why to live can bear almost any how. You can get on with stuff if you know why it is you are trying to do the things you are trying to do. So these words remind us that when we have a clear sense of purpose, we're better equipped to endure the hardships and find meaning even when the circumstances are challenging. So one of the things that I get people to think about sometimes when I do these sessions is what's your workplace why and what's your life why? What do you want out of life? And I genuinely believe that we are discouraged. I'm not going to get all political, but I do firmly believe that this neoliberal world that we live in, that wants us to consume, to be consumers, generally, so this capitalist thing, this version of capitalism called neoliberalism, I think it genuinely discourages us from thinking about something bigger than the next purchase, the next experience. I call us experience collectors now. That's what we are. And in being experience collectors, we often miss the experience because we're too busy collecting the experiences. Nobody on their deathbed has yet, I imagine, or is going to say, I really wished I'd had more time to watch all of those videos I took at gigs when I, instead of absorbing the moment, absorbing the performance, I decided to video huge sections of it, much to the delight of everybody behind me who now can't see because I've got my hand waving in the air with my phone recording in some, grainy, pathetic image. Sorry, I'm on my soapbox now, with sound quality that's going to be pathetic, that I'll never watch again. Where have I gone with this? I've gone off on one, haven't I? That's never anybody's why. That's never anybody's why. What is it that gives you purpose and meaning? What is it that transforms these experiences kind of into something else? So yes, I get people, let's try and get back on track. I get people to figure out what their life why is. What on your deathbed would you think, yeah, I achieved that, or I kept going towards that thing and did loads of good things on the way? What Stoic philosophers talk about, and you've got to enjoy the journey, not the destination. You'll have heard various versions of that, but it comes from a Stoic philosophy thing. We've got to enjoy the process, not the outcome, because the outcome, it might turn out the way you think it might, but it might not. And the perfect example of that is, you can probably see behind me, I've got an easel set up and I like to draw, and if I wasn't enjoying the process, I'd never draw again, because believe me when I say the output that I generate as a budding artist, the output is not good, but it's a great thing to do. So anyway, but what's the purpose of that? Well, this is interesting. I'm quite happy to tell you my life and work purposes. The purpose of that, the reason I draw and paint badly, is that my life why, if you like, that my core value, and this is what this is all about. How do I go about living my life? And this is mine. And it sounds pretentious, because it probably is, but why not? I live at the intersection of mind, spirit and body. So I think this thing that I'm doing, does it live at the intersection of mind, spirit and body? Well, the art does, because it's really absorbing. And it's a physical skill that you've got to endure at and try at. And it really calms my mind. So it's got a mind component, it's got an emotional component, it's got an endurance component, because I am getting a bit better. In order to get a bit better, I've got to keep practicing the skills of art, as well as just engaging with it for the love of the pleasure of putting a mark on a piece of paper, which is essentially what art is, isn't it? You know, and some people are better than others. So that's my life why. So when I go out for a run or a walk, I'm living at the intersection between mind, spirit, and body. I am, because the run helps my body physically. It also helps my mind. I feel sharper after a run. And it also helps my spirit because I get outside and I'm in the fresh air and I'm in greenery often, even when I'm running around the doors here on the estate I live on and what have you. There's still trees. So it's all good. So, you know, the thing I'm doing, does it fit with that? And at work, my workplace why is to accumulate, understand, and then disseminate information. That's exactly what I'm doing here now. This is why I love doing this stuff, and it feels like no effort whatsoever, because I've accumulated a whole lot of information and I've understood it in some sort of way, or tried to, and now I'm disseminating that and telling other people about it. So when I'm at work or thinking about doing work, freelance work, I think, well, does it fit with that? Have I collated information, tried to understand it, and I'm now disseminating in some way? Yes, I am. Crack on with that. Let's do that. Let's do that. So when it's a case of you're writing a book, it takes time. You've got to read it through again, you know, and then you've got to read it through again, and you've got to kind of rewrite it, and that takes a lot of effort. That's hard work. But when it fits with your purpose, it doesn't feel like hard work quite as much, you know, or you're quite happy to get on with the hard work. Sometimes, is this a David Goggins thing? Sometimes we've got to do the hard thing. I think we have. I think sometimes we've got to do the hard thing. I think that's inevitable. So purpose enhances, because of all of this, it enhances our psychological resilience, having meaning. When life and work doesn't go according to plan, and it really does, having a clear sense of purpose provides us with a kind of beacon in the distance of where we're trying to head. So we think about the setback and we think, right, okay, let's regroup and let's figure out how we head towards the lighthouse, you know, in the distance. And we reframe the obstacles as part of like a larger kind of journey, you know. The obstacle is the way, I've probably mentioned before. And research in the area of positive psychology, Martin Seligman and other people, their studies have shown that individuals who report having a strong sense of meaning and purpose in life tend to experience higher levels of overall well-being. They're just more satisfied with their life. They maintain better mental health and even enjoy the physical kind of benefits of the lower stress levels, and even kind of physical things like better immune function, that kind of stuff. You know, so it has loads of benefits, and we have to think about the ripple effect, I suppose, of this, because when you have a clear sense of purpose, you start to tell yourself a particular story about yourself. And sometimes we tell ourselves negative stories about ourselves, and we become our stories. We become what we tell ourselves, if we tell ourselves it often enough, you know. So we'll go back to that eudaimonic self-care from before. Momentary pleasures are great, but if they fit with our journey, if they fit with our purpose, if fit with what gives us our meaning, then we're then pushing it towards that eudaimonic self-care, and we're living a life with purpose and meaning, focused on something that we're moving towards, and that generates energy, mental energy, physical energy, emotional energy. That really generates that sort of energy. So there you go. The importance of purpose and meaning for happiness. We'll see you again next time. Take care.